Hey, how are you doing? This is Pamela Lewis, broker of Realty Executives Peninsula and team lead for Team McKinney. Hey, thanks for coming back to check me out. If this is your first time, thank you so much for checking me out. I so appreciate you stopping in to my channel and checking out what I have to say. So today's topic is the pros and cons of living in Hampton, Virginia. Up next. Okay guys, so today's topic is about Hampton, Virginia. The pros and cons of living there. So Hampton is a little over 136,000 residents. Isn't that cool? So if you've never heard of Hampton, Virginia, they have a lot of cool features about this independent city of the Commonwealth of Virginia. So let's get into it. The number one pro of living in Hampton, Virginia, it's surrounded by water. So if you are from the Hampton Roads area or 757 or coastal Virginia, whatever you want to call it, Tide. If you're from old school like me, Tidewater. So if you are used to going back and forth through the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, it's the first city you'll get to if you're coming from what we call the south side of Hampton Roads, the city of Hampton. So it's surrounded by water. There are, which you know, if you've been listening to all my videos, you know I am a fan of the water. So if you know anything about Atlantis, hit me up. We need to chat. But anyway, let's go on. So, City of Hampton has two beaches. For a long time, it's always been Buckrow Beach. Buckrow Beach is essentially a Chesapeake Bay. But they've made it into a nice area where you can have your beach time and not have to go way over to Virginia Beach. And the next video that we'll have come out is about Newport News. And Newport News has their own little beach too, if you're not familiar with that. But for the city of Hampton, there's a retired military base called Fort Monroe. They've also now have public beach access to the Chesapeake Bay, which is their beach area. So yeah, that is one of the cool features definitely for the beach. But also too, if you're a boater, similar to the people that I was speaking to in my City of Chesapeake video, the city actually has, we'll go into that further. No, we want to talk about that now. That's part of my thing now that I want to talk to you guys about. They have some public boat docks that you can actually rent. So I thought that was pretty neat. And that's renting them in downtown Hampton. So yeah, that's a really cool thing. So you can go to the beach, or you can also use your boat if you're coming through, if you're going down to Florida, and if you're coming through, I'm sure if you haven't stopped, you definitely want to stop, because where the boats dock is like the downtown area of Hampton, and there's like some old shops, and there's some cute restaurants, and there's some museums. There's a lot of things to do in a downtown area where you would actually dock your boat. So that's the number one thing for City of Hampton. Number two pro of living in Hampton. Similar to the city of Norfolk, their city engagement is outstanding. The city, as far as the driver's seat that I've been into, with just being active in our local realtor association, kind of linking into the city and kind of seeing, since I'm not a resident of Hampton, but be able to see what the city is doing with their residents, with doing focus groups. Isn't that cool? So I've been in, they talked about how they did focus groups to figure out, you know, what are people looking for. I think it was 8 or 10 years ago, they were trying to figure out, you know, this whole green space thing. Do people want to have bike paths? Do they want to have running trails? You know, how can they improve their city? So I think that's a great benefit, a great pro of living in the city of Hampton, is they want to hear from the residents as far as what they want. So that would be my number two pro of living in the city of Hampton. The third pro of living in the city of Hampton, the history. You know, some of you guys may be like me, or you just may be finding out from this video, but our first slaves in Virginia were actually were in Hampton, the city of Hampton. So where Fort Monroe, where the former military base is, where they have beach access, if you come to visit Hampton and you love history, definitely visit Fort Monroe. There is a area designated where it talks about the first slaves that came to Virginia were in the city of Hampton. Some other cool history facts is there is an Air and Space Museum in the downtown Hampton area, where I mentioned if you had your boat, you would dock there and you could go dine, but you could also go to the Air and Space Museum. So I think that's pretty cool. And there's vast other history facts. Oh, so the first African American women that worked for NASA were all from Hampton, mostly I think all from Hampton. So that's another great history fact. And I'm sure there's many more that I'm just not mentioning now. But yeah, Hampton has some rich history. And I should say rich Virginia and American history right in the city of Hampton. The fourth pro of living in Hampton. There are things to do. So you can imagine from the other pros that I talked about, there are lots of things to do. But the city of Hampton also has great shopping. So growing up, you know, when you got tired of shopping at, you know, our area, our Lynn Haven Mall and Pembroke Mall, we would always go over to the city of Hampton, where they call it the Coliseum area. Well, the Coliseum area is no longer. So if you used to live here or you're from here, you just didn't know that, they have a Peninsula Town Center is what they call it now. So they pretty much leveled out Coliseum Mall. Oh, it was a great place though, especially young people just meeting other young people. But whatever, I digress. So they have the Peninsula Town area, which is like an outdoor shopping area. And so they have cool shops there, cool restaurants, cool bars. They also have a Target for those who like to shop at Target, like myself. Also, too, they have the Coliseum, which a lot of the concerts happen there at the Coliseum. They also have a convention center, so our Hampton Roads Convention Center, where most of our conferences would happen on the Peninsula side, would be at this convention center. They have a casino. What? Y'all probably didn't know that. Even if you do live here, that was kind of under the radar. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I've been living on a rock after having these twins. But they have a casino. Now, don't get too excited. There's no tables for you to bet on. But they have lots of slot machines, and it's called Rosie's. There's also nightclubs. One of my favorite places to go to with my friends, we had a ball when we went there a few months ago, was Avenue Blue, so shout out to them. They have live music for the first few hours, I believe, and then they go into a DJ the last hours of them being open. So if you're in the area, check it out. There's other nightlife things that are going on that I'm just not mentioning because I haven't went there, so I want to be able to tell you the things that I know that are good. So if you do go, you ain't talking bad about me. So yeah, there's lots of things to do in the city of Hampton. So if you come here to live, make sure you experience some of those. If you are just checking out these videos because you want to come and visit our Hampton Roads, you definitely need to check out Hampton. The bonuses with things to do, I didn't mention these things. Golf courses. They have a movie theater that you can actually eat dinner and watch a movie. Totally awesome. Inside that location, it's actually a bowling alley. So that's even super, super cool. Yeah, so there's like so many things to do in Hampton. Okay, so the fifth pro of living in the city of Hampton. And it's really not, it doesn't really affect me because I'm not in the military, but I am a Navy brat, but I'm kind of grown up now. Well, not kind of, I am grown. I'm old. I'm just joking, I'm not old. Don't I look young? Anyway, the fifth pro of living in Hampton is the VA hospital. So if you are a military vet, that's the place you would go to, is the city of Hampton. So if you're listening to this video, trying to figure out where you should live, if you're, we're in the military and you're retiring and you're trying to figure out where should I live, you might want to live in the city of Hampton because you are going to be close to the VA hospital, which you will be going there for pretty much everything you would need medically, unless you go to the Portsmouth hospital, which is in my town that I live in currently. So yeah, that would be the fifth pro of living in Hampton. Okay guys, let's get into the cons of living in Hampton. Number one, I don't think there will be anybody in this entire world that would debate me on the number one con of living in Hampton. The traffic coming from the tunnel. Woo-wee! pros I didn't mention, but needs to be mentioned, is Hampton and Newport News have really, their prices are less than the other side of the water. So there is quite a few, and I'm sure there's a percentage, and I should know it, and I don't know it, that live on the Peninsula area because the pricing of housing is a lot cheaper. So if you work at Norfolk Naval Base, so how it goes is there's city of Hampton, there's a tunnel that goes underwater, and the next city that comes up is the city of Norfolk. And the city of Norfolk, if you remember, if you saw the video, houses one of the largest military bases there is. So if you work at the military base, you most likely are living in Hampton or maybe even Newport News, and they're trying to get to work. Well, there's not just one person or two people. It's a lot of people. Or even if you work in Norfolk, you might even work in Virginia Beach, just depending. You might just love Hampton. There's just so much to do. Well, a lot of you guys who love Hampton are backing up the tunnels. So that traffic is crazy. Also, too, in the summertime. So if you listen to the Virginia Beach video, Virginia Beach is a tourist community. There are thousands of people who come to visit Virginia Beach, especially during the summertime. So all those people are trying to get through the tunnel. So that thing can be backed up for hours. Let me tell you this. If you're not from the area and you're coming to visit, you better make sure you take the Monitor Merrimack or the James River Bridge. Again, if you're coming to visit and it's summertime and you see that tunnel announcement saying it's 4 hours or 2 hours, you better take the Monitor Merrimack or the James River Bridge. Now, there are some times where they'll just all be backed up, especially if there's an accident on one of those other two that I talked about. So, remember one of the pros for Hampton. There's things to do. If you can't get to the other tunnels or the bridges because they're backed up too, because maybe there's been some accident, especially with 18-wheelers, lucky for you, there's things to do. You can go to the beach, you can go to restaurants, there's spas, nail shops, movie theaters. That's another thing I didn't mention in the things to do, which I'll probably actually go back and record. So yeah, let me go back and record that. So yeah, you want to make sure you go a different route. Number 2 con of living in Hampton: the hospital. There's no main hospital. So there is a Centera, I think it's called a Centeraplex, which they do acute surgeries, or they look at people who have acute problems. But if you're going to need any hospitalization and you are not military, you will have to go to the next city up, which is Newport News, for the hospitals. There's 2 hospitals in Newport News, and I'll talk about that in my next video. So that might not mean much to anybody watching this video, but there might mean something, because that's something you need to know. It's a big fact, especially if you're going to be giving birth, heart attacks or whatever. So that's definitely a fact you should know about the city of Hampton. The third con of living in the city of Hampton: they have one of the highest property taxes in the Hampton Roads. They're not the only city that has the highest taxes. So essentially, it's Hampton, Portsmouth, and Suffolk have the highest property taxes. But just like I spoke in the other videos, usually when the taxes are higher, property taxes are higher, the prices of homes are less. It just suppresses the cost, because the overall cost when buyers are looking for homes, they're looking for total package. How much is it going to cost me to own a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 1-bedroom, 1-bath? So that's the thing about Hampton. Since the property taxes are so high, typically the housing costs are cheaper than the other cities. Okay, the fourth con of living in Hampton. Some of you guys may debate me on this, but if you listen to my other videos, you know where I'm coming from. And follow me on this. The lack of getting around the city is not there. So, follow me on this. So you have I-64, the main highway, takes you right through the city of Hampton. However, city of Hampton is kind of built like this. So think of me as the highway going through, and the city of Hampton is on each side of the highway. So for me, when you get off the highway, let's just say I want to get over to my pinky side. I gotta take the street all the way over to the pinky side. That takes a long time. But actually, it's pretty smart, because as you are trying to get to the pinky side, you're going to see all the shops and all these restaurants that you may want to stop at, and you probably will stop, or if you need gas too, you probably will stop before you get to your destination. However, you know, for me, and it's probably for other people too, they would love to be able to just get right off the highway and be wherever you need to be, versus having to get off the highway and then travel through the street to get somewhere. So that would be my con of living in the city of Hampton. Okay, so my fifth con of living in the city of Hampton is there's no major transportation. So let's just say you want to fly out for a beautiful weekend, I don't know, in Cozumel. You can't fly out of Hampton. Let's just say you want to take a train ride up to DC. You can't get out of Hampton, but you can go to a nearby city in the city of Newport News, just like the hospital. So I would say that would be my fifth con of living in Hampton. It's a great place to live. However, if you want to get somewhere else, you're just not going to be able to use major transportation. So that's it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video on the pros and cons of living in the city of Hampton. I so appreciate it. Please leave your comments down below if you have any questions, if you have any comments on this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making this video. And I hope to see you guys again. So remember, every Friday I'll be dropping a new video that's going to help you along the way of your home purchasing or home selling or just living life. Shoot. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click on the red button. Bing! Thank you so much for doing that. And if you want to get notification when new videos come out, click on the bell button. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much.